welcome, welcome. It's good to have everybody here for day whatever. What are days anymore? I don't know. It's Saturday. It's Cybersquatch 2020, and we are super excited to have everybody here. My name is Tim. I am one of the Squatch commanders, and I've been happy to be part of this team for about 3 years, I think, maybe something like that. And today for our session with Stith, we have a couple of moderators helping us out. We have Justin and Kells, who will be keeping an eye out for your questions and making sure that we pass those along. The setup here has folks, you can put your questions in the Q&A box within the Zoom, or if you want to just like chit chat amongst yourselves, you can use the chat feature. And then our moderators will spot your question and bring those up. And if we need to go into any more detailed dialogue, we can turn folks' microphones on or video as we need to. And everybody should have read the code of conduct that went out with the invitation when you signed up for the webinar. And appreciate you taking the time to pay attention to that. That is important to us. We always have great attendees. But just a couple of reminders from those from our code of conduct. Be kind to each other. Black Lives Matter. Be patient with our tech difficulties. And if you don't follow the code, we're just going to kick you out because we don't have time for that. So I'm going to start us off. Facebook is still failing to stream, so that's cool. But I'm going to start off with a nice little ad from Purple Heart Armory. We are very appreciative of Purple Heart supporting us this year. So stand by while I switch us over and turn on this Purple Heart stream.
Hi, Natasha again with the Purple Heart Armory table, and this time I wanted to show you some of our newer spec items. So this is the new cadet jacket. I know you've seen it on the website. Some of you have wanted some more up close and personal details on this. So this one has the blue loops for the buttons, so it has a nice finished look when you have it on. On the inside, though, is where the magic happens. This entire front is a foam pad, very nice and sturdy. It goes all the way up to the collarbone, all the way around the side to cover your ribs. There is also a pad here covering the upper arms. You can get it in either blue or red detailing. You can have that choice on the website. I'm going to change out of this because it's hot. All right. Next is the other newer jacket, which is the Officer Level 2. So this one looks just like the regular officer jacket, except the inside has the padding, more padding in places that the officer jacket just has fabric. So there is padding here up to the collarbone. There is padding here in the upper arms. And this jacket is also the 800 Newton material. And then the detailing and everything is a little bit different than the officer jacket. So that is that one. And then this one we've had for a little while, but it is one of my favorites, so I always like to show it off again. This is the AP Light Jacket Pro version. So it's the standard AP Light Jacket, padding on the inside, moisture wicking material, very light and breathable, but they add the Pro plates. So that is now its own item on the website because it's been so popular. So you can look for that in all the different colors of the jacket. And then last, the other new item that you've all been asking about is the red lobster gloves. So this is an upgrade from the other heavy gloves that we've had for forever. The biggest upgrade on this is the thumb. So it is fully encapsulated hard plastic thumb. And the rest of the glove is pretty much the same, except there is hard plastic here on the cuff as well. And the snazzy red liner. So that's our new spec items that we have available. Come back in a little bit and we'll show you even more.
All right, so thanks once again to Purple Heart for sponsoring us this year. It's always tough to find sponsors when you're working virtually. So with that, we're still trying to get the Facebook live stream started, but we're going to get our session started here with Damon Stith. So Damon, why don't you introduce yourself and take it away?
All right, thank you. Appreciate that, Tim. Hey guys, thank you for being here. My name is Damon Stith. I am the Chief Instructor of Septicote Guild of the Silent Sword and President and Founder of HAMA, Historical African Martial Arts Association. Today, we're going to be exploring my personal machete system called Ikiri Ada, which is a Yoruba term which means restless machete. And it's going to be a combination of traditional machete systems from South America and the Caribbean, primarily based off of Colombian machete and Haitian machete, and also there'll be some Venezuelan aspects into it as well. It is going to be very movement-based, so just you know, do your best. I'm going to try to break things down and make sure I'm taking care of everyone. If you have any questions about anything, please post it in the chat, and someone will let me know, and I'll try to address it. If it requires more discussion, then we can, you know, unmic and talk about it. What else? If there's anything that's difficult and that you probably need to modify, just go maybe to the previous movement to kind of stay in motion, all right? Ideally, what we'll need is basically just like a short sword or machete type trainer, or a stick. Kali sticks are fine. If you have two of those, great. If you don't, we can work around it, all right? Okay, let us go ahead and get started. If anyone's done my class before, you guys know there's a lot of movement. It's nothing different with us being virtual here, so we're gonna actually warm up with some footwork and just kind of getting our bodies warmed up, all right? Let me see here. Cool. Okay. In a moment, I'm gonna start some music, but our first, let me change my levels here. Okay. Move this up a little bit. So our first bit of footwork that we're gonna do is real simple. We're just gonna march, okay? So you can take your machete, you can have it in your hand, or you can put it behind your back here. And we're gonna start with our dominant side, that, and we're just gonna take a walk forward, one, walk back. 1, 2, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, okay? Just like you're normally walking, except we're gonna kind of cant our body a little bit to the side, okay? So ready? Here we go, moving forward, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ready? Once again, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. So now, our next set of footwork that we're going to do is going to be a replacement step, okay? So here I am. I have my dominant side, my right side back, right? My left side forward. This movement is called a falsete in the Colombian system. So basically, we're going to replace the rear foot with the front foot. But we're going to stay without moving forward or back, all right? So I bring my rear foot to my front foot, and I switch, just like that. Just like that. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very good, guys. Now, once again, this time, start off tall, and as we go, switching our feet, we're going to get low as you can, and then work your way back up to standing tall, okay? And ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, good. Awesome. All right, from here, what we're going to do is this simple, draw our foot back, a simple foot slip, switch your feet, foot slip, switch your feet. Okay, ready? And avoid, and then switch. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. And very good. Awesome. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. Let me check to make sure y'all are all right. Okay, next up, we're going to do a gathering step called falso directo. Okay? So basically, I'll turn to the side here. My feet are apart. I'm going to go bring my rear foot to my front foot forward, then front foot to rear foot back. Okay? So, falso directo, forward, forward. Okay? We're going to do 10 one side, 10 the other side, and then we're going to combine the two together. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and turn the music on. So remember, 10 on one side, 10 on the other side, and then we're going to go 10 alternating with the falsete on the rear foot. And I'll stop when we get to that point. Okay? All right, so everyone put your dominant side back. All right, let's get ready. Okay, dominant side back. So 10 is going to be forward and back. Ready? And 1, move forward, back. 2, forward, back. 3, forward, back. 4, forward, back. 5, forward, back. 6, forward, back. 7, forward, back. 8, forward, back. 9, forward, back. Last one. And 10, forward, back. Falsetto switch. Ready. And 1, forward, back. 2, forward, back. 3, forward, back. 4, good. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. 10. Good. Falsetto. So now we're going to move forward, back, falsetto. Forward, back, falsetto. Forward, back, falsetto. Forward, back, falsetto. Okay? Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. And 10. Good. And here we go. Next set of footwork. Falso angolo. Now this is a pivot step, okay? We start 1 foot back. And you see kind of my line here. I'll angle down. There we go. So this movement is used to blend with horizontal, I'll come to this side. It's used to blend with horizontal attacks, okay? So we're going to start here. We're going to step and then pivot. And so then we're going to be facing the opposite direction, okay? My rear foot, I step and I pivot, okay? Step, practice that just by stepping and pivot. Let's do a couple. Step, pivot. Let's do 10 of these without the hop, because usually you hop. 1, I step and pivot. 2, step, pivot. 3, step, pivot. 4, step, pivot, and 5, step, pivot. 6, step, pivot. 7, 8, Now add a little hop to it now. A little hop to it. 9, a little hop to it, and 10. Hop. Awesome. So we're going to go back to that movement, okay? This time we're going to add just a little bit of the hop in that motion, all right? You can step, but now let's add a little hop to it, okay? We'll start off with one side back. We'll do 10 on that side and then 10 on the other side, okay? I'll turn the music back on and we'll get it in. All right. Let's do it. Falso angolo. All right, starting with my right side back. And I step. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Boom. From here we are. Once again, non-dominant side back. 10 more. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and last one. Bang, 10. Very good. Feet apart. We're here now in our square. Okay? So here, we're going to move side to side, gathering steps. Let's do 10 of these. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So gather in, take off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here. Now step forward. Gather and step forward. So, step. So we gather and we step forward. Okay? Ready to do 2 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Back to the square. Awesome. So, pause for a second. Okay, cool. So here we are. We're back on our square. So we see my center line here, right? What we're going to do now is from here, we're going to just pivot and open. This is called a quadra in Venezuelan, Garrote. So we're going to do a forward quadra from right here, okay? So feet apart, ready. Let's do 10 of these. And pivot, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. So we're going to add the upper body to this a little bit. Okay, go ahead and put your machetes down for a moment. You guys have seen the feet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear, boom, 1, clear, 2. So clear as you step, clear as you step, clear as you step. Okay, if I had my blade with me, I clear as I step, switching my hands clear. And so I'm clearing, but I'm using my hand, my arm, to deflect an incoming attack as I step off the center line, okay? Let's do 10 of those. Ready. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very good. Open stance again. This time what we're going to do is we're going to do this backwards quadra here. Let's try with the feet first. So I'm here. I'm on the center line. An attack is coming on the center line. I step off that attack. Boom. If some of you guys have done capoeira, it's like a ginga. So here is my base. In capoeira, we're still here. You see I'm still on that center line there, right? But my body kind of swings off that line. This is similar. The difference is I'm stepping past that line and pivoting, making my body, profiling my body to be very small. Okay? So then I step again to the other side, and you get this radical swinging movement like this. Okay? Let's do 10 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, simple principle is when I'm striking, I'm staying behind my blade, right? So you see my hands, I'll focus on my left hand. So I'm swinging, and when I'm swinging, I'm staying behind my arm, right? So it's my right side, same thing, swinging. So what I'm not doing this where I'm crossing with my blade. I'm actually trying to stay behind it for this particular drill, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on our right hand or our dominant hand, and it's going to be the sword or the machete. Just think about clearing as you pass, as you step. So imagine the strike is coming here, and I'm doing my left side for this one. I'll parry down or pass it down. Good. Then my partner in the Garrote system will switch hands. They will attack again from the other side, and then I would use my right to do the clearing here. So for us right now, focus on your right hand. So you have forehand pass, and then the backhand pass. If I were to put the blade in my hand and do the same thing, I have my angle 1, my angle 2, my angle 1, my angle 2, okay? So focusing on your dominant hand first, let's do 10 of those. Ready? So you pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. Now switching to our non-dominant hand, same exact thing, all right? We're in our open stance. Imagine the attack is coming in from this quadrant here. Boom, change levels, deflect it down. It's coming from the other side or from the direction. Step, sweep it away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome, guys. So now we're going to alternate hands. First, just the forearm, the forehand strikes, okay? Or the forehand pass. So when the attack comes here, boom, I deflect with my right. As it comes to the other side, I use my left. And then my right. And then my left. And then my right, okay? Make sure you're changing levels as the attack is coming in. I change my level, boom, and I clear it down, okay? And I want to force it to the ground, okay? Here we go. Ready? And doesn't matter which one you start with as long as you're behind your cut, okay? Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Of course, we do the exact opposite of that, is do the backhand pass. 1, 2, okay? Let's go get 10 of those in. So backhand pass, the attack is coming here. This is my motion coming out as I clear, all right? And of course, there are breaks or grabs that we can go to from here when we start playing around with it. But for now, we're just clearing the machete down or the stick down, okay? Again, it's coming from this way. This hand is going to kick it off, intercept it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that is the quadra from Garrote, Venezuela. Now, staying on that square, we're going to go to another set of footwork from Colombian Machete called falso diagonal, okay? This here, let me angle this down. Looking at my feet first. So I'm going to be in an open stance. Phase 1, we're going to come here to the point of our triangle, right? You see my triangle? What I'm going to do is I'm going to step from the point of my triangle to the base or to my corner and then replace, okay? So from here, we go directly from there. This is just phase 1. Practice that for a moment. You're here, you step to the side, you step forward, okay? Let's get a couple. Let's do 10 of these. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. You can put your hands behind your back for balance. This is kind of how you start off training anyways. And 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I promise we're going to swing machetes in just a moment. I promise. Okay, so now what we're going to add to this is going to be an evasion, all right? So I start here, I'm on a point, okay? Imagine a horizontal attack is coming. So I step, and I'm going to weave underneath and come forward, okay? Again, imagine a horizontal cut coming from this way. I weave underneath, and I step forward, okay? Let's attempt those. Take your time. Make sure you're using your legs, boom, and your body to get underneath that, okay? Take your time. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. Nice. So now, building off of that, this time, what we're going to do, instead of stepping directly to the side, we're going to gather our feet together and then step. So let me show you the differences between these two. Check out my legs. Okay, feet apart. So I'm here on my point. Before, this is what we were just doing. I was stepping and stepping. Boom. This time, we're going to take our front foot and gather, step, and then step. Okay? An extra step. So gather, step, step. Gather, step, step. And see how I'm gathering on that angle. Gathering away, avoiding a cut to my leg, and then I'm repositioning. Boom. Avoiding the cut to my leg, repositioning. Okay? Ready? And 1, gather. And 2, gather. 3, 4, 5, 6, gather your feet. You're baiting with the leg. I'm baiting you to hit the leg. When you come, I hit, and I reposition. 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. Now, same thing. We're going to add the weave to this, okay? So now, we're here on the point. We gather. We step underneath. We weave and forward, okay? Gather. The attack comes in. We weave and forward, okay? Let's do 10 of those. Ready. And 1. So I gather, weave, and forward. Boom. 2, gather, weave, and 3, gather, weave. 4, gather, weave. 5. Messed up that one. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good, guys. All right. So that is the primary feat for Colombian and Venezuelan, and we'll build in Haitian in just a moment. All right. Everybody okay? You need water? Let me know if I can continue or whatnot. Give you guys a quick moment. Any questions about any of the footwork before I move on? Q&A. I see one question. Okay, so great question, Sean. The dimensions of the square, they're arbitrary right now. I really just drew that just as a visual, and it's going to adjust based off your opponent. Now, what I like to do is I like to work from, say, this square is really big, right? That's a lot of space that I'm covering here. Okay. Sorry, pull it up a little bit here. So the square I made is kind of big. The basic dimensions of my steps are going to be based off of like 45 and 90-degree angles. So I'm really, if you look at it, I'm working more on the inside of it, so a little more than shoulder width apart for right now, so that my feet don't get completely away from me. See how I'm working more on the inside as opposed to, boom, here on the outside. But those are possibilities as well. So it's going to depend on how much space I need in order to avoid or to achieve whatever I'm working for. So, and it's hard to kind of show it without someone being here. So when I'm avoiding these overhead strikes, I'm actually, kind of really conforming on that line, but I'm not really on this one here, but I'm off of it, right? So I'm really kind of more here. When I am, see, if I'm here avoiding, this is okay, but it's a little wide. So I would adjust myself based off of what my opponent is doing. So I don't really have a set. It's not that I'm aware of that there's a set distance, and I'm imagining that it will adjust based off of your height and your weight, and then just kind of like how well you can move. So that distance right there is good for me. It is a little bit of a stretch in certain movements, but it works okay for me. Hopefully I answered that question, but I think it's more arbitrary and more dependent upon what you bring to the table and your opponent's position relative to you, if that makes sense. Hopefully that does. That's a great question, by the way. Let's see. How do you practice in an apartment, not a ton of room? Great question, Ed. What I would do is I would start on my basic cross, which is basically moving forward, moving back, moving side to side, so that I can start here, and I can just work on doing like one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back, or one step forward, one step back, shuffling, switching my feet, And you should be able to do a lot of this stuff really tight. And we work on really changing our levels, getting low to the ground. So you should be able to work within, this is probably like a 5-foot square that I had here. And so you should be able to do everything you need within that square. So like if you go and put your arms out to the side in your space and mark out a space about that length, you should be able to work most of the techniques. Anything that you're doing where you're swinging high or wide, you just have to kind of tuck those movements in or change your levels, which is part of the art anyways. So, or use a shorter weapon as well. You can use a knife, you can use your hand, you can get yourself a smaller like 18-inch stick or machete and use that, and it works the same way. This stuff works for knife work as well. Hold on, I think there was another question. I'm doing this in the apartment kitchen, and it's tight but working. Cool, very cool. Any other questions, guys? All right, if there aren't any more questions, let's go ahead and move into actually striking with the machete and then marrying our strikes, our cuts with our footwork, all right? So we're gonna use, let's see, 10 basic strikes, all based off of these diagonals, horizontals, vertical cuts, and then our thrusting, all right? So we're gonna start in an open stance, and we're gonna go through those basic cuts. It's gonna be kind of dry, but then we're gonna put it together with our footwork, and it'll start making more sense, all right? So here we are. So I'm gonna start with an open stance. I'll go ahead and tuck my non-dominant hand out of the way for now, okay? So my first strikes are gonna be these diagonal cuts, okay? We're all familiar with these motions. Let's go ahead and get 10 of these in. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Switching your hands, guys. Ready? Once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switching hands. Rising diagonal cuts. Rising diagonal. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switching hands. Rising diagonal cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. Horizontal cuts, and of course, the horizontals can go up and down the body. We're going to focus on the head, okay? So ready? Horizontal cuts, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switching hands, horizontal cuts. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switching hands, guys. Now we're going to do our vertical cut. It's going to start from the outside. It comes straight up the middle. Then inside, straight up the middle, as much as you can. This one will come kind of more out. Just try to get it to right towards the center. As long as it starts to hit the chin from underneath, you're good. Okay, this one will come out a little more angled than this one. All right, ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Switching hands, same thing. Rising diagonal cuts. 1, 2, rising vertical cuts. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Overhead strike from the outside and then across from the inside. This is very similar. It's hard because my foot is right here. But if I was sitting in a guard, this would be like a redondo style cut in the Philippines, in Cali, similar to that. But since my leg is there, it kind of stops the motion. So here we are from the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Switching hands, same thing. From the outside, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure it's more hard to the top of the head or front of the face. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. Okay, now let's thrust. So, thrusting. We're going to start here at the hip. It can also be here with the shoulder. But from the hip, I'm just going to extend forward, and I'm going to pull back to my other shoulder right here. Okay? Then I'm going to thrust forward from there, turn out, and then back to the hip. Okay? So I'm here, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Off and then switch hands. Same thing. Starting low and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. Awesome. So those are our basic cuts. What we're going to do now, I'm going to turn some music on, and for one round, I'm going to let you guys kind of connect those movements together, create your own combination. We're going to be on the open stance, so I want you to stay kind of facing parallel with the camera, and then we'll move on from there, all right? So get yourself ready. Oh, yeah, we'll work both sides, too. So when I say switch, we'll switch to the other side. All right, here we are. Open stance, guys. Create your combinations. Go ahead. Put it together. Get ready, guys. Switch hands now. Same thing. Let's go. Switch back to your dominant side, guys. Now you see how I'm adding this side to side shifting, okay? So now we're shifting, and striking, okay? Go ahead, go. Pause here. Shake in the middle. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Switch to the left side, guys. Here we are. Same thing. Creating your combination. Moving off from side to side. Okay? Ready? Go. 1. 2. Good. Here we are. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Here. Center. Okay. We're going to cross, cross, cross. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Back to center. Ready, go. 1, switching hands, guys. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Again, here. 1, thrust. 2, thrust. 3, thrust. 4, thrust. 5, thrust. 6, 7, thrust. 8, thrust. 9, thrust. 10, and thrust. Back to it. Switch hands. Same thing. Here. Thrust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, good. Feet together. Side to side. Here. Diagonal cuts. This time we're going to focus on our dominant side, guys. So diagonals. 4, 5. Very good. Pause. Rising diagonal. Rising diagonal. Good. Here, horizontal. Good, good, good. Here, vertical. Very good. Here, and overhead. As you're moving with this, I'm moving side to side, but as I'm doing that, I can also still step forward. I can move back as well. So as you're moving side to side, work on advancing, retreating as you're doing this, okay? Let's add a thrust to it, okay? It's gonna be a little weird with thrust. Boom, 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 boom. Good, good. So now, your own combinations. Create movement as you're moving side to side. Remember, try to move forward, try to move back, also try to change levels, okay? Don't just stay upright. Okay, here we go. What's the music?
Hey, Damon, we've got a question from an anonymous attendee.
Hang on one second. Okay. What was the question?
When gripping the machete, should we hold it in a handshake grip, hammer grip, Filipino grip with the thumb on the spine?
Great question. So the maestros, when they hold the machete, their grip varies to really, really weird positions and stuff. Even sometimes not really having a good solid, what we would consider a really good solid grip on the machete. And that's something I would consider more of an advanced movement. Starting off, a hammer grip or what you're calling a Filipino grip is fine, especially for these big cuts. Later on, what you'll find is that the fingers, this kind of opening and closing of the fingers kind of creates these really deceptive strikes that the more advanced fighters use. So start off with a nice loose, not loose, say a firm, strong but fluid grip on the machete. And then later on, you'll find that you'll start to be able to open up in certain areas and hold it a little lighter. But I wouldn't necessarily start that way. So yeah, just get a good, like I said, a flexible, fluid, firm grip on the machete, not too tight, not too loose, but something that allows you to move it and articulate it. And that should be a good place to start. And then later on, you'll be able to do some of the more complex, like positions they do with their fingers that are, you know, like I said, I wouldn't recommend them right now for just starting off. Great question. Any other questions before we move on? No? Okay, cool. So just to recap, guys. So what we're doing now, we're moving side to side, and you're creating your own combinations with the strikes that we've done. Okay. So make sure that you're moving forward, moving back. As you're moving side to side, also change levels. Don't just stay standing tall. All right. Cool. All right. Here we go. Music is on. Let's get this in. Music is on, guys. So remember, let's go. Side to side. You can move forward, you can move back, you can change levels, you can double up. Side to side. Very good, and pause. Awesome here. Now, again, incorporating our previous footwork to this, all right? Going back a step, we'll go into our forward passing step. So we'll do our cuts moving forward, 1, 2, moving back, 1, 2. So diagonal cuts, moving forward and moving back. Ready? Here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And ready? Here we go. Step back a little bit. Rising diagonal cuts. Ready? Here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Fall back a little bit. Horizontal cuts, guys. Here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, horizontal can go to the head or to the body. When we get to defensive, we'll see how we deal with that. Now, vertical, rising. 1, 2, up the middle. And then stepping back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, overhead. Dominant side back. Stepping forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Step forward, step back. Sorry. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, this is going to be a little weird. The thrust. So we step, thrust, we pull in. Now, as we step, shoot the thrust in, it's going to come a little bit before, a little weird on this side. Boom. Going back, step back. 1, step back. 2, step back. Forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, now, again, connecting that footwork with creating combinations. So we're going to do now around, moving forward and back, putting those techniques together in combination, your own combinations, all right? All right, here we go. Dominant side back. Okay, and then again, create your own combination. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Very good. Following that same trend, guys, with the falsete. So we replace, and the natural swinging motion of my body is what gives me my cuts. So here, again, we're going to go ahead and create our own combination, okay? So create your own combination. Falsete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Ready? Together? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One more. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very good. All right. Now, we're almost done with this portion. Now we're going to do this as we've done it here. We're stepping in, boom, boom, stepping forward, cutting like this on our quadra. Let's do a couple here. So all I'm doing is I'm stepping forward, 1, 2. If I had my double machete or double stick, machete or gone, you know, I'm here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? But anyway, for now, just get used to this. Even if I use my offhand as something else, right? But for now, if you want to play with that, that's fine. You can work on ways to insert that into your movement. But focus on, if you can, just getting those basic cuts in as you step from side to side. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Same thing, guys. Stepping back now. 1, stepping off. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Once more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Okay. Good, good. Take a moment to see if we have any questions. Check our time to make sure we're okay with time. Any questions that I missed? We're going to move into defenses if we have time for that.
So Mark just wants to know if you could provide some links to good music to train with for this art.
Yes. Can I? There is a there's a Haitian, if you're on Spotify, there's a Haitian Vodun drumming that I'm using right now. And that has some pretty good music on it. I'm not sure how to do that right now with where I'm at, but I can definitely get that information to you guys with today at some time, if that's okay. All right, cool. How much time do we have? Are we good with time?
Yeah, we're doing good with time over here. And yeah, we can post if you have any links or whatever to music, we can post that up on our Facebook later today.
Awesome.
We got one more question here. Peter's asking if there's any advice on finding good trainer weapons.
Yes, there is. Yeah, you put me in a weird position, Peter. Of course, you guys know Purple Heart makes synthetic arms and stuff like that. I also have a small company here in Austin, and we make training weapons for Hama. So if you're interested in like machetes or whatever else, we have these guys here that we make. So you can go to Street Forge Armory to look us up, or contact me directly and let me know what you need. And then of course, like there's lots of synthetic makers around and about. But yeah. Cool. Any other questions?
So Astrid Carter wants to know, can you recommend any sources for people who want to learn more after the seminar?
As far as written sources, or like, so this is a more of a living tradition. So you can always, like, you can work with us with our group in Hama, and then you can also try to make direct contact with some of the lineage holders in these areas. My maestro is Maestro Lorido from Colombia, and his organization has quite a few videos up that you can watch, and if you have a training partner or someone, you could probably put some of this stuff to use. For this particular blend that we're doing today, it's my particular blend, so it's kind of a combination of Colombian Grima and Venezuelan Garrote and Haitian Machete. So this unique stuff that we're doing here is unique to my system, but it is based, like the footwork is based off of other living traditions and stuff. So if you wanted to get like more direct source to that, it would be good to talk to Maestro Lorido in Colombia, who's my teacher. And then if you wanted to do Haitian Machete, my teacher in that is Mike Dillon. He's in y'all's area, actually. I think he's in Portland or Seattle. So you can look him up, and I'm not sure how active he is, but he can work with him as well. And then Hector Ramos of Venezuela is a really good source of Garrote. And these are all people that are, well, not Mike. Mike is out on Facebook, but Maestro Lorido and Hector they both are on Facebook, and it's easy to connect with them. And they have tons of videos. If you were to look up Grima, Colombian Machete, or look up Garrote, you could find like tons of videos. And there's actually more books on Venezuelan Garrote, which is practiced primarily with stick, but you can find lots of videos and lots of books on that art. It's a lot more accessible. It's not as much written on the Colombian systems yet. Apparently, Professor Deshobi is working on a book on a couple of cartas. So cartas are like fight books that circulate throughout Colombia, and these fight books are like the local styles of Eskrima that were codified by different families of different lineages. So he's working on publishing like a work. I don't know if it's the actual translation of the fight book or if it's more of a discussion of what is contained inside the fight book, but that should be coming out soon as well. My pleasure. Thank you, Astrid. That was a great question. Cool. Any other questions?
So there is one more question for you, Damon, on Facebook from Jose Kuhlman. He says, best regards from Germany. Is there any kind of binding in the Machete system, or is it to be avoided to gain more safety?
No, there's definitely binding, especially like in the Haitian system. the Avril family system is like primarily all binding. I wish there was a way for me to like rig up something. So kind of when we're doing the drill, the portion, the movement where I was holding the machete kind of more deadline center, and then I was shifting doing the cross step and shifting myself off the line, but still trying to maintain this line with my machete. So all that exercise is kind of a cheap way of doing it while not having like a partner. So like in the Avril family system, the way that it's taught, and what really sets us apart from other machete systems in Haiti, because most other Haitian machete systems or stick systems they work at long range, right? Very little binding and more being able to hit from long range. The Avril system is interesting because it actually focuses on primarily on defensive actions and primarily on binding and winding against the blade or the arm, preferably the arm. So like when you see like the Avril system, what you have is like the way it's trained and the way that it's practiced is one person is giving shots. What is the Machete to like give shots, right? So say that I'm the instructor or I'm working with someone and I'm the attacker. So my job as the attacker is really to make my defender work, right? So a lot of times you see the attacker just doing some really kind of outlandish stuff where they just kind of they do the cuts. They may turn their back to the person and attack on the other side. And my job as a defender, actually, because I'm doing most of the work, I'm doing all the work. Now my job is to close. If you can imagine their blade or their arm is here, it's to close, and for me to move and to do this all within a really close, tight position. So in this case, what I'm doing, if you can imagine, is I'm intercepting the attack and I'm trying to roll and stay really close and tight to the person's arm as I kind of work up to get my, and they don't really deal with that aspect in the game, where it's just like one person who's doing the defending and their job is to defend. They have to defend and they have to close. And there's certain strictures on how they do this. Like there's not a lot of tipping of bringing the tip down to defend here. So if you were to attack on this line, right? So I would defend here, right? I could shift that and shift over to the outside, and then I'm on the outside of the arm, right? And so my partner will come around, or maybe they may change levels, right? So I'm not allowed to drop my machete down to cover that. To deal with that level change, I actually have to deal with that level change, I actually have to change levels, right? Even if they go to my leg, you would think, sorry, you guys can't see that. You would think that I could go here to defend it, but nope, this is the defense. I know it's absolutely crazy to think about doing that, but I think it was designed as a training tool to help to teach the fighters to be able to close and to bind against the weapon and the arm. So long way around that, yes, and definitely in the Avril system is primarily binding. In the Colombian system that I train, I haven't come across much binding like that myself. Most of it is like what I would call like cross-cutting or intercepting the attacking arm or movements of that nature, as opposed to this like coming in and really sucking up space. I think that the Avril system really excels in that range. I think just the next step, taking it out of how it's traditionally practiced, is how to bridge that and make that work. Like when we're talking about like sparring or like dueling, I think that's kind of the question. That's kind of the void that like my group or like Hama kind of is trying to understand, because we see we try to do as an organization is train the traditional systems and excel and understand what the living traditions are, what the attributes and the aesthetics that those living traditions give us. At the same time, then there's the bigger circle, is how those skills and attributes, how do we apply them outside of the cultural context, and then that requires us to tweak things and to adjust things based off of who we're fighting. So that's kind of how we preserve tradition. At the same time, we also innovate and explore within that tradition, if that makes any sense. Great question, by the way. Very cool. All right, any other questions? No? All right. Time-wise, how are we? We have time? Are we out of time, or?
We've got some time. If you got another set to go, or if we want to do a little bit more Q&A, up to you.
Okay, let's go ahead, and since we've done footwork, we've done basic cuts. Let's go ahead and work on some defensive movements, some parrying, and some blocks and things of that nature, and then we can probably call it a day after that. Okay, so let me grab a little bit of water real fast, and we will do some blocking. Parry. All right. So here we are. We're going to do some reinforced blocks, and you guys are going to notice this stuff from like half sorting, right? We do movements like this with the machete and with the stick. Hang on one sec. Where in art like Kalinda, we would use this portion to block and strike, yeah? In Hausa stick, same thing. We would use this end to do most of the action, but we can release and catch with that, right? So you see that kind of common, and then in East African forms of stick fighting, you see this kind of sliding motion where you defend and then you could strike off from there, but you use these kind of motions for defense. So you'll see in the stick fighting the same kind of movements we do with the blade as well, the machete, all right? So starting here, so we're basically just imagine a box or a diamond, yeah? So the diagonals here, so we're going to kind of skate back and defend. 1, skate, 2, skate, 3, 4, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now, of course, it doesn't have to be a diamond. It can be just a square. So, of course, I can defend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Okay? So now we're going to do the verticals and the horizontals, right? So I'm here. 1, 2, pick a side. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. All right, now going back to it, so we did 6 positions, I guess. And then from side to side, side to side for the thrust, side, side for the thrust. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to defend, and then boom, counter strike off, combination, if you wish. Combination. Here, the sides. Then you can thrust, cut to the side. Good. The thrust. Thrust. Again. Thrust. And thrust. And thrust. And thrust. Good. So you can do this movement. You can walk forward or walk back, actually, this is it, where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then moving, sorry, the finish for that 1, 2, like that. So moving forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So moving back and moving forward. Ready? Protecting high and low or low and high. Doesn't matter which one you start with. Ready? Hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, and moving forward. 1, like we're closing in. 2, like we're closing in. 3, 4. Cool. Now we're going to fit against the side. Moving back. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and moving forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now moving back, defending here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving forward. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. Now moving back, horizontals. Horizontals. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Again, the thrusting is the same as the horizontals, and we could just boom here, here. The same thing, or the side, or side to side. Moving forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? Cool. So now, moving on from our passing steps, right side forward, dominant side forward, okay? So if I come in with my diagonal cut, right? Boom, diagonal cuts. We're going to first, again, cross cut with that, okay? So as my partner moves forward in the line drill, I'll move back and cross with the same angle, okay? So let's all come close to our cameras. We're going to move back, let's do 2 steps, all right? So right side, dominant side back. Imagine the cut is coming in. We step back. 1 and 2. Good. And we come forward with our diagonal cuts. 1 and 2. Once again, we move back. 1, 2, move forward. 1, 2. Awesome. This time, as we move back, we're going to cross cut and do a counter strikes off of that. Okay? Cross cut, boom, boom, counter. Okay? And let's go back as far as we can. Let's try 4 steps back. All right? So here we are. The attack comes in. I deflect it, and I count. Boom. The attack comes in on the other side. I deflect it, and I counter. The attack comes in again. I deflect it. Counter. Once again, I deflect it and counter. Okay? Moving in with our diagonal cuts. Move in. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we're going in for the low diagonal cut. Same thing. I'm going to cross cut, and we can counter. Bam. Cross cut and counter. So I'm deflecting the strike, or I'm imagining I move, I avoid it, and I hit the arm, and then I ride in. Once again, I cross, counter, and cut. Once more. Good. Stepping forward with those diagonal cuts. Riding. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once again, they go to cut my leg. I void. And again, this motion can be seen as me parrying or making contact with their blade, right? Or as I'm avoiding, I'm cutting their hand or their arm or later on, as we board, we can go a little higher. Basically, as I go to cut for the leg, I lose a lot of my range. I have to be a lot closer to get you there. So what you'll see a lot of times while we're practicing, we're crossing with the machetes or the sticks. We're crossing with the machetes, with the sticks, or like in the Filipino arts, what we're really thinking about is when they're going in for that cut, we're really trying to take the arm out, take the hand out as soon as we can. Because that's what we're doing when we're fighting. Sometimes you're fighting not so much to injure a person or to kill someone, but sometimes you're fighting for different reasons sometimes. Okay, again, let's go ahead and move back now. I want you guys to do your parry and get your counter strikes in. Parry, counter strikes in. Okay, a couple of those. Ready, dominant side back. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. Come on in. Those diagonals. Low diagonal cuts. Bang. Bang. Awesome. Okay. So now we're going to go horizontal. Okay. So as we step off, we're going to deflect high. Here. Here. Okay. If my partner cuts low, then that's when I'll go tip down. Tip down. Okay. So if I go, we'll move forward. High, high, and body, and then body. Okay. So then they come from my head. 1, 2, then my body. 3, 4. Head, head, body, body. Okay, so now same concept. They go head, I deflect, and I counter strike. I deflect, boom, thrust, and get my strike. They come to the body. Deflect, thrust, counter, or deflect, and hit. Okay? Again, here, deflect, boom, and hit. I move forward, head, head, body, body, and they come again. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Good. Ready. Moving forward. 3, and 4. Now, vertical cuts, cutting underneath. We're going to 1, here. 2, and of course, this one here we did earlier, okay? So it's pretty much the same thing we're going to cover in here. Ready? The cut comes in, we deflect. 1, ready? Deflect. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stepping in, vertical cut underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Again, the cut comes in, we deflect and counter strike off, right? We boom, deflect, counter strike off, and good. Moving forward, vertical strike. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cool. Right side back. Now, overhead strikes. I step back, and I'm here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I come in, overhead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, up. 1, counter strike off. Ready? 2, 3, and 4. Coming in, overhead. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ready and back. 1, counter. 2, and 3, 4. And ready, moving in, overhead. 1, 4. Okay, now the thrust. Okay, so the first part of the thrust will be easy. So the first thing we're going to do is something real simple, and it's going to be really intuitive. So starting here, as I step forward with a thrust, you will step back and you will move across here, right? 1. Cool. The next thrust that comes in is that weird backhand thrust, which more intuitively, what feels easier is to just come back and do this. That's kind of what we do with our horizontals, and it follows the same theme. There'll be a little difference in how we deal with the second one, but let's do that one first, okay? So we're here. The thrust comes in. We deflect. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cool. We're coming with our thrust. Stab, pull back, stab, pull back, stab, pull back, stab, pull back. Once again with a counter strike. The thrust comes in, we deflect, boom, counter, or deflect, counter, whichever one. Here, deflect, counter, and again, deflect, counter. Last one, deflect, and counter. Moving forward, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good job. Okay, now the way we're supposed to defend this one here is kind of weird. It's weird for me. It may be easier for you guys, all right? So what we're going to do is this. We're going to break this down. So I'm here. Bear with me, okay? So the thrust come in, right? This makes sense because of where we're at, right? What we're actually going to do is not this, but we're going to unravel and deflect it like that, okay? Hang on one sec. I think I got out of the way. All right, check this out. Hang on, bear with me. All right, bear with me. Hang on. Okay. So you guys see my training partner here, okay? All right. This is awesome. I can show you this now with the Machete stuff. So here we are. So here's my thrust coming in, right? So it makes sense for me to do this, right? Yeah? I'm here, and boom. What we're actually trying to do is, stay still. There we go. Okay, it's moving around. But what I'm trying to do really is come here and deflect like that. Okay, so I'm here. Deflect. So instead of this, or instead of this, it is unravels and it comes like this as I'm stepping. So try that. I'm here. So this one here is easy, right? This one here is easy, right? Boom. And then I'm here. From here, it unravels, boom, and goes out. So try that. Unravel, and go. Once again. 2, 3, 4. And this is usually when you're going back, when you actually be kind of going like this. From here, boom, like that. But almost killed me there. So here, just without the footwork, just working the arm. Facing you guys here. From here. Hit myself in the head. Y'all saw that. And good. Now with the step, I'm here and I'm okay. Come back in as a step. Again, right here as I step. Okay. Since I have this guy with me right here, let me show you what I meant about the Haitian machete real fast. So it's kind of low, but so we imagine I'm right here, this attack, right? See if this works for me. I would roll underneath from here, right? Not quite comfortable enough, but yeah. So you would work on this type of insight here as you maintain control and go underneath the arm. Not quite as flexible, but that gives you kind of an idea of how we're working with each other. All right, let's get a check-in here. How are we doing? Any questions? No? All right, cool. So we're going to wrap up with a little bit of pendulum stepping, which is something that's done in Garrote. It's also, I'm calling it pendulum stepping, but they have different names for it. It's basically like a back and forth kind of flow using your passing steps, all right? So this will be our cool down. Check out my feet. So pretty much all I'm doing here, my dominant side is back. I step in, step out. Step in, step out. Then add your strikes to it, right? Step in, step out, step in, step out. So now try to get on different points and move around, right? Step in, step in, step out, in, out. You can add any of your strikes into this motion, right? Just moving in, out. You can put all your movements together. So now I'm going to use my hand now, okay? So I'm going to clear the attack, then my partner clears the attack, right? So this is for dealing with vertical strikes and the diagonals, right? So you're passing and clearing the diagonal strikes away, and you're striking in, right? In Garrote, you would switch hands, and if the attack came in the other side, you could clear and do the same work. But let's focus on it being in our main hands. So all we're doing now is we're incorporating this passing movement with the strike, okay? Again, imagine it's coming from a high position, pass, I clear, this one's ready to go, and I step in and I strike, right? Again, pass. Strike, I go for the horizontal, as I add the horizontal to the motion, right? Now, if I wanted to envision that myself, my partner comes in with the horizontal cut, I can just add a weave into the motion and go back to the flow of things, okay? So the main thing is passing with the sword or with the machete. Good, here. Passing with the thrust. Passing, so you're passing my thrust, I'm passing your thrust. Or if you're cutting underneath to my leg, I am using my blade to come behind your cut and clear that and pass your arm, right? Then I come in with my blade to cut. You use your machete to come behind to clear that, and then your hand to pass it up or to pin to me, okay? Let's try that in pieces. Starting up top, okay? The diagonal, the horizontal, or the vertical comes in, you just pass one, pass it down, come in. 2, 3, you can move in a backward and forward motion. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now imagine that the cut now is coming to the inside of my leg. I'm going to void, sweep out, and sweep the hand. So as the cut comes in, I void, I clear the machete, and I clear my partner's arm, and then I come in with the same thing. I cut for their leg, their machete comes behind my blade, clears it, their hand clears or pins my hand, and then they return the cut, and we go back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, my partner clears my hand up. This is exposed. They go into the stab. I void. I sweep down with the machete and clear. Then I step in. They do the same thing. They void, clear, they parry the machete, and then track the hand or brush the arm away. Okay? So here I am. Starting here. The thrust comes into my body. I clear it. Lift the arm. I come in with my thrust. Lift it. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Back a little bit. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, let's recap. Check in. All right, guys. Okay, questions? I see one in the Q&A here. All right, it says, Acid, are you referring to the overall system or the particularly the Haitian stuff? Definitely, that's the case for the Venezuelan art, in that it is like a constant. And again, I think that whereas the real system trains in that close binding position, I think that Garrote trains almost exclusively in like that mid range, that range between we're at a distance where we can like snipe the arm and the hands, and then we're in a distance where we can strike. You know, we're striking with the pommel and whatever close arms we have. I think Garrote exists kind of in that bridge between those two realities. So yeah, there is a lot of this clearing motion with your partner, and at least like the way the drills are set up. The way, and I say drills, not really drills. It's more of the play. The way the play is set up in this constant back and forth of making contact, either again right in that medium range. So yeah, that's definitely an accurate observation for the Garrote system, and even for the Avril Haitian system as well. Is the idea is to take control of that arm. The Colombian system again is like it's probably the most developed out of all those systems, in that it covers a lot more ranges, and it tends to be more long range. Not to say there's not any close in stuff, and there's definitely more things that I haven't seen from my time period with it, but it's mostly seems like an in close, not an in close, but it fights at a longer range from my observation and experience. That's a great question. Let me see if there's anything else. No questions there. Cool. All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up. I think the class was like an hour and a half. Hopefully, I covered my time. And I'm willing to go more if y'all are here. Thank you. I appreciate that. Kiana. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Got a question that was just posted. Is there a wrestling system attached to these arts as well? That's a great question, Mark. There is a certain degree of grappling that goes along with the coming into close proximity. For example, a lot of the movements when we're clearing and passing the arm, there are ways, and there are empty hand versions of like tying up the arms of your opponent in the Garrote system, and then also in the Colombian system, where they have these stops and these checks and these wraps and stuff that you can do with the arms to control the weapon arm, which makes sense if you're talking about a weapon system. You know, that the grappling would be, you know, largely depending on making sure that you're controlling that dangerous side. So yeah, you definitely see that kind of stuff. With the Haitian system, I haven't come across anything like that myself. There's definitely a wrestling tradition that's associated that is practiced in Haiti called pinge. My Creole is terrible. Now I'm probably butchering it, but there is a wrestling system that is practiced in Haiti. To what degree it comes out in the machete, I'm not quite sure. But again, it seems like a very valuable tool to have, especially in being able to control the weapon arm. A lot of times, you know, the machete is a common work tool, and it's not uncommon to have altercations between people in modern day times with these blades. And you know, if you're unarmed and you have to close distance, you know, being able to like tie up a person when they have this kind of weapon would be an important skill. So I would imagine that there is. I just haven't really come across it in the Haitian system, but I know there's definitely something in the Garrote, in the Venezuelan and the Colombian system. I think. Oh yeah, his name is Mike Dillon, and he is. I feel like he's in Portland. He's in Portland or Seattle. But yeah, he's one of the first guys to bring the Avril system to the United States. So if you were to look up like Haitian Machete on YouTube, and you would see lots of his videos, and you could just go and speak to him, go and make contact with him, and then work something out with him. Let's see, Astrid. I believe Astrid had a question for me. What drew you to study these systems? Long story short, it's a very long story for me, but I grew up really loving martial arts and loving warrior traditions, and at the same time feeling like a couple of things as a kid. Feeling one, like this deep cultural wound or cultural void in myself, whereas like I really like the idea of heroes and warriors and stuff, but I never really saw myself in those narratives because of what was being projected and presented at that time. Now, mind you, I'm an old man, and this was the 80s. This was before the internet. This is before we were also connected with each other and information was so readily available. There was definitely deficits in the education system as far as teaching about different cultures, especially like the cultures of Africa. I grew up having this love for these arts, but never really
Oh, I think we just lost your audio, Damon.
because
It's back. Never mind.
Oh, sorry. Of course. Okay.
All right, you're back.
Am I back in?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So So just having this deep self-hatred for myself, and at the same time this void of information about myself, but also really, really enjoying the physical activity of training and the cultures I saw that were actually involved with these training arts. So I started doing martial arts, which at the time was a very, very small definition of what constituted a martial art, and it was primarily fighting arts that came from East Asia, karate, kung fu, taekwondo, judo, jiu-jitsu, aikido. And those were all very exotic to me at the time. Karate was like the most common thing. So I started training in Okinawan karate here in the States. And then my dad went to the military and I started training karate. My dad went to Okinawa via the military. So I went and trained Okinawan Shorin-ryu there in Okinawa. And while I was there, I came across like the writings of Miyamoto Musashi and Bruce Lee, and I really started seeing martial arts as kind of like a not just about like fighting and training, but I just kind of really started seeing it as like a personal expression, and how for a warrior or for a fighter, it was important to like understand like various disciplines, and that would make you into a better general, better commander in a sense. And Bruce Lee definitely brought in the idea of martial arts being not just an East Asian thing, but something that was you can find throughout Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, as well as in Europe. And so, you start seeing fighting arts like Silat and Kali, Muay Thai, Bando, and then on the other side, you start recognizing that wrestling and boxing and fencing and Silat, these were all martial arts as well. This come from Europe. So, at the same time, I'm starting to learn more about myself and about African history, and then the questions I began to like, wonder. I started changing my direction from East Asian martial arts to Southeast Asian martial arts, their connection with culture and with music and with a bunch of other like, I'm not sure he's teaching there though. He may not be teaching. Sorry, I'm reading as I'm talking. So I started getting into Southeast Asian arts because they had like this. There was like I saw the fighting arts as well as it being a personal expression. It also saw it as like a cultural expression, a way to kind of to be like a repository of history and of cultural practices. And so all this stuff is getting me kind of primed for like 1993, which would have been the short answer. The short answer would have been in 1993, I came across capoeira. And I started training in capoeira, and I didn't know its history, but I wasn't really interested in it as a fighting art, but like the visual of it, it definitely spoke to me as a person of African descent in the diaspora. The music, the movement, and the people doing it, it really, like, I don't know its history, but it felt like it was something that was really deeply connected with Africa. So as I began to study that, I learned that capoeira was, descendant, that its seeds, its root came from Central Africa and possibly from other parts of Africa. So that kind of propelled me. One, when I started researching capoeira, I started to see that there were other fighting arts in the African diaspora that bore similarities in certain aspects of capoeira, whether it's like they were set to music, or that they were played in a ritual circle, or that there were the techniques, the movements were combined with certain spiritual slash cosmological, that's not the word I want. Spiritual slash, there's a word I'm looking for, and I can't think of it. But we'll stick with spiritual. That it was not just fighting, but there were other aspects that were going on with it that either spoke to it as a metaphysical will work as well. But I'm thinking of more of a fancy cosmological. Does not sound right. But yeah, basically when we're talking about how the universe is, yes, cosmological. I guess that's right. It didn't sound right coming out of my mouth. But yeah, so these arts were really geared towards Congolese style cosmology, right? Where the universe is set up in this cross in essence, and in this cross there's this central circle, and in this central circle it has these different. It represents the spirit of the living, our land of the living, and the land of the spirits that were underneath. So like you see these arts are kind of connected to each other in like these symbols and in this spiritual practices, and then in these cultural aesthetics. So I was like, so this is more than just kind of a unique thing that just kind of happened in Brazil. This is like something that's larger than that. So I started to look for the parent arts of capoeira on the continent, and that's led me to a lot of different places. But initially, capoeira was my entry, and what got me to capoeira was doing changing my training from Shorin-ryu karate to Jeet Kune Do. And then with Jeet Kune Do, that's when I came across capoeira, that had opened the doors for me for capoeira. Sorry, that was a long ass answer around the world in a day, but yeah.
That was fantastic. Well, I think that is a good spot for us to wrap up today. Thank you again, Damon. We really, really appreciate your instruction, your scholarship, and sharing that with us today. Thank you to Justin and to Kells for moderating this session for us. Damon, if folks want to follow up with you, I assume they can go and check out your website, silentsword.org.
Yes, indeed. And tomorrow we're actually having another Machete stick class at 6 p.m. Central Time. If you guys want to jump in on that, you're welcome to. It's a Zoom class. I'll put the link on my Facebook page, and you guys are welcome to share it around. So, yep.
Fantastic. All right. And then a reminder again of that Purple Heart discount for today only. That discount code is S2020. If you want to check them out, thanks to them for sponsoring us as well. And hey, if you had fun today, throw us a donation. We're on PayPal as Swordsquatch. Any donations will help to keep this thing happening and to help keep our hosts at Sanka in Seattle running above board. And if you're here in the U.S., please don't forget to vote this November. So thanks everybody, and we'll see you at the next event.
Thank you guys.